What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Nintendo Land. We might already be looking at a new revision to the Nintendo Switch. Now, a couple things happened in the last couple of weeks that could be pointing at a new version of the Switch 2 already either being considered, being worked on, or getting ready to be released. Because, yeah, we have some information for you. Real quick before we dive into that, we are getting super close to our goal of 400,000 subscribers. I have some really cool things planned, so stop what you're doing real quick. Let's see how many people from this video alone we can get to leave a like and subscribe. We are super close. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you so much. Let's dive into the news. So first off, we were getting some reports of a brand new LCD screen for the Switch 2 that was being shown off in places. It just looked a lot better than the one we currently have. It's still an LCD screen, but it just looks slightly better. This was reported by Video Games Chronicle that stated, as spotted by Nintendo Patents Watch, the updated model allegedly surfaced on a Chinese resale site and features a sharp LCD panel with significantly redesigned inputs compared to the standard Switch 2 model, suggesting it's not a minor revision. They then go on to state, it's speculated that the new screen could potentially address the ghosting issues that the launch model suffers from compared to its predecessor. Now, you might not have noticed this if you're just casually playing your Switch 2. I mean, I love Nintendo and I focus on even the smaller details, and I haven't even noticed this, but there are some pretty bad instances of ghosting on the Switch 2. Ghosting happens when the console's LCD panel suffers from a slow pixel response time, causing those pixels to lag behind. You might notice this as almost like motion blur. You can see like trees or objects leave a little trail behind when you turn at a certain speed, and it's a little jarring for some people. Once again, I've not really noticed it, but I've seen some people really get bothered by this thing. But apparently this new LCD screen is supposed to fix this, and this is no longer a problem with those. Now, the account Nintendo Patents Watch over on Blue Sky actually posted some photos and stated a new model of Switch 2 LCD panel, most likely by Sharp, has surfaced on a Chinese resale site, Image 1. Compared with the launch model from Innolux, Image 2, the exposed circuit, connector, and cables are significantly different in Images 3 and 4, indicating an updated design, not merely a minor revision. Now, Video Games Chronicle goes on to say, or it could simply just be related to the revised Nintendo Switch 2 model recently confirmed to be coming to Europe to comply with new regulations requiring that all consumer products with built-in batteries make them easily removable. They then go on to say, however, this is definitely not the Switch 2 OLED upgrade that many users have been hoping for since the console was first released. However, shortly after this was posted a couple days later, literally yesterday, we got news of potentially an OLED version of the Switch 2 coming out. Now, this has been all over the internet from so many different sources over the last 24 hours, but this one comes from Go Nintendo that states, this report comes from tech site ZDNet Korea. According to an article they posted, multiple industry insiders have given them advance info about Nintendo's plans for future Switch 2 products. Specifically, it's been said that Nintendo is considering producing an OLED model with an enhanced 1920 by 1080 resolution screen. The word that should be emphasized here is considering. According to the report, nothing is finalized and Nintendo is still weighing their options as far as cost and manufacturing go. Theoretically, an OLED Switch 2 could go into production at the end of this year for a late 2027 or even an early 2028 launch. Even if this rumor is true, however, there's no guarantee that Nintendo will actually decide to go through with it after evaluating the risk and benefits. This isn't the first time we've heard rumors of an OLED revision for Switch 2, and it probably won't be the last. While ZDNet Korea is a fairly reputable source, this is still a rumor and should be by no means taken as gospel. We'll have to wait and see if and when any new Switch 2 models come out in the future. Now, this is a strange situation that Nintendo's got themselves in. Right now, they know they have an LCD screen on the Switch 2s out there in so many people's hands that have this problem with this ghosting effect that's happening with these slow pixels. How are you going to get new LCD screens out to these people? You know what I mean? You're just going to have to sell a new version of the Switch 2, an updated version. I think that even was a thing with the Switch 1, like a slightly better version, but it's pretty much the same exact console. I don't know how many people, if anybody, would really go out and buy a new one if that's the case. Are they going to offer refunds? Absolutely not. So at the end of the day, it might just be a thing that comes to the OLED Switch. Obviously, with an OLED screen, you're not going to have that issue anyways. But I kind of already expected Nintendo to kind of cycle back around and do what they did with the Switch 1, but with the Switch 2 this time around, where, of course, you're going to get your console alterations and revisions. I mean, literally just 2 years after the Switch launched, we got the Switch Lite in 2019. That was about 2.5 years later, and so far, we don't have anything like the Switch Lite for the Switch 2, something that's primarily just a smaller but a handheld console only with no dock and also cheaper. And obviously we got the Nintendo Switch OLED about 4 years later in 2021. We just entered year 2 of the Switch 2, so I think it's a little early for us to be getting a brand new OLED model already. And based on the price of RAM and chips and just the chip shortage, and yeah, it's absolutely through the roof right now. I mean, the Switch 2 is going up to $500 in September, so you could probably expect this OLED to be $550 if not $600. But I also don't think a lot of people are going to care about a Switch 2 OLED as of right now. I think one of the biggest complaints with this console right now really isn't the console itself. It's very powerful. I think the LCD screen actually looks really good, so I couldn't imagine what an OLED screen would look like on this thing. Really, the only complaint right now is the lack of major titles from Nintendo. I feel like right now Nintendo needs to focus on their software first. When these Nintendo Directs actually happen, they need to be revealing some of those big games that a lot of people are waiting to buy into the console for before they start, announcing or even showing off a revision like an OLED or something. Plus, remember with the Switch 1, right after that OLED release, we started hearing rumors about a Switch Pro. That obviously turned out to be the Nintendo Switch 2. We don't know if eventually, it went from a Pro to a Switch 2, if it was always just going to be what the Switch 2 is, but we were having heavy rumors and lots of really credible information that showed that a Switch Pro was coming. So that's just what the Switch 2 turned out to be. And dude, after all of those rumors and all that hassle that happened with the Switch Pro stuff, I do not even want to think about a Switch 2 Pro right now, because it's going to be the same boat all over again, and then it's going to end up being a Switch 3 that doesn't release until 2033 or something. It's insane to even think about. But also, it does have me thinking about the future of Nintendo's consoles. I mean, it does seem like we're going down that same cycle of the Switch, and it makes me wonder, is Nintendo now just going to use the Switch as a new sub-series of consoles for like the immediate and foreseeable future? Like, is that all we're going to be seeing in the future? Is Switch 3, Switch 4, Switch 5? Is the Switch the brand new Nintendo-based console? It's hard to say. Maybe after Switch 2 it's something completely different. I don't know. But, I mean, how do you get better than the Switch? That's the question, besides just continuously making it stronger and stronger with each generation. But yeah, lots of questions on the table. What do you guys think about this? Would you be excited to see a Switch OLED coming in the next couple of years, or do you want them to hold off for a while? Personally, I love my Switch 2 screen, and I actually love the way it looks and runs. I don't really have a problem with the console itself at all. I'm just looking forward to some of the bigger titles that Nintendo surely is sitting on right now. So we're just going to have to wait and see, but thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Nintendo all the time, and I hope you have a blessed rest of your day. See you guys.